cut my children off from television cold turkey, but I was not going to do that without a plan. And the first step was to brainstorm, and I'm sitting by myself at the desk, they're off watching shows, and I'm writing out all of their options of what they can do with their free time. Because as soon as you cut them off from the television, what you have to deal with at that point is the boredom vector and the mischievousness of idle hands. So I made lists of things they could do with their free time that wasn't television. What would I rather they be doing other than watching shows all day? What other things could they do? And I made lists of outside things, I made lists of inside things, I made lists of games, I made lists of art and music and reading and language arts and different kinds of skills and handicrafts like weaving and all kinds of things that we just had in the house. I didn't go out and buy all of this stuff. These were different gifts and kits and instruments that we had acquired over the years, and most of the time just got dusty because they were off watching shows, and shows are the easy fix, right? So if they're going to develop a skill on the ocarina, then they have to spend some time fiddling with it. This is the first list I ever came up with for this purpose. It was a free time list of things they could do that wasn't television, and I created this, I guess, years before I tried to do cold turkey off of TV. This was just me trying to encourage them to do anything except the television, but then we decided to just go cold turkey. So I brainstormed a comprehensive list of things for them to do. I color-coded them and organized them into 5 different groups, and this was spiritual health. Search the scriptures, write in your journal, practice meditating, breathing exercises, and that's towards meditating, is the meditation breathing. Wild Ride to the Heart is a board game that we own, so that's a board game. And ask yourself, how can I help today? Those were the things I categorized into spiritual health. And the next category is language arts, and that was practice Duolingo, handwriting, read the scriptures. Do you notice that's up there twice? Because it's important to me. Also reading to their brother. It's cut off there on the bottom, but reading out loud to their little brother, the baby, I thought was a useful thing to do, which is just different ways to practice their English and language skills. Here we have physical health, speed rope, stick work, which is practicing their barbell work with a stick or practicing with a stick. Rowing machine, yoga, ball practice, wheel skills, that is on your skateboard, on your bicycle, on your rollerblades, or any kind of sport of your choice. We have all kinds of sport balls. After physical health, next we have handicrafts, and sorry it's kind of fallen off because it's been up there so long, it's years old. Handicrafts are things like knitting, sewing, carving, painting, latch hook kit, cardboard stars if you want to spray paint them and hang them on the walls or something, origami, just anything that any kind of arts and crafts that they can put together with their hands that is something that they can decorate their spaces with, or just practice learning a skill like carving and sewing that can be useful for a lifetime. The 5th category on the wall was blue, and it was entitled music, and I just listed all the different instruments that were available to them for them to practice. That's just how I chose to organize it. There's lots of different ways to do it. You can make it as beautiful as you want, but my lists were sufficient for my needs, and so I was happy with that. You could write everything down on a popsicle stick and stick it in a jar. There's lots of Pinterest ideas out there for a boredom jar. Or you could write the list on the wall and type it up so you don't have to handwrite anything. And then you can do a permanent marker on the bottom of a marble and number the marbles and stick them in the bag. And they just pull out a number and then match it to the number on the wall, and they can see which one it is and do whichever number they pull out. Or you could do the same kind of thing with a deck of cards. You just write on the deck of cards. Maybe you're missing a card anyway, so it's a kind of a scrap deck of cards. And you can repurpose it for your boredom list of ideas. And I don't call it a boredom list because that's boring. I mean, make it something like your fun ideas to do, or something more creative than that. My titles were spiritual health, physical health, music, handicrafts, and language arts. Those were the categories that I was emphasizing as options for them to do. These are other things that you can do that's not just watching television. I like that you like entertainment. That's great. let's find other passions. And that, more than anything, is what I'm looking for as a parent. I'm trying to find what piques their interest. What do they want to do with their time? And that's why putting it on a list on the wall was more useful for me than just picking one at random. I think picking one at random is more useful if you want them to try something they've never tried before. But this is, I'm trying to get them to figure out what it is they want. Because more than anything, as a mom, I want my children to discover their passion. And that, more than anything, is what I'm kind of just exposing them to new ideas and thoughts and things, so I can help them discover what their passions are. And once we know what that is, they're like, all of a sudden we've got a goal and a focus and a direction. We can work with that, and I can help them do that. And I'm willing to, waiting to, wanting to, but they're still very young, and sometimes it takes a while to find that interest. And then I cut the cord. No more television. And that might have been an explosive experience, because it had been bottled up in me for a long time. And so they knew I meant business, and they knew there wasn't going to be any television for a while. And it was after they had been going at each other. They had been watching shows, and they had been at each other's throats again, and I had talked to them previously. I'm getting tired of this behavior, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And so when the next time that they had a spat, I intervened, and I removed the television from their experience, and I didn't have to pick up and move the television. It was just, this is turning off now, and we are not turning it back on. There's no more television for any of you for the foreseeable future. And I'm not giving them a timeline. I'm not giving them days or hours or anything. I'm just saying right now it's never again, as far as we're concerned. Just never again. And so when they inevitably came up saying, well, what do I do? I had on the wall, behold, a list of ideas. Let's go over them together and see if there's something that you would like to spend some time on. And we went through the lists, and they found different things to try and kind of pitch-a-patter with it. And it's different than just sitting around watching television, because you have to actually use your brain cells and develop some skill. If you're going to practice the recorder or practice the piano, or if you're going to practice singing a song or practice jumping rope, even jumping rope. My children hadn't learned how to jump rope yet, because they'd just been on the television so much. They'd never bothered with it. And so now they've had enriching life experiences they can explore. And that was tremendously satisfying for me to provide them with that physical outlet and expression in both with their physical selves and their emotional selves through music, and their intellectual selves through reading to each other. It was a genius move. I can't take credit for it, because I did ask. I wasn't sure how to do it, and that was the answer that was provided to me, was to do this. So I gave them suggestions, and they played with their toys. That was it.